How do amperage and voltage affect welding quality? Imagine building a skyscraper or repairing a bridge. The strength of those welds depends on how well you control the electrical settings on your welding machine. Today, we're going to see how amperage and voltage shape the quality of welds in construction work. First, let's talk about amperage. Amperage is the amount of electrical current flowing through the welding circuit. Think of it like the flow of water through a pipe. The more amperage you have, the hotter the weld gets. This heat melts the metal and the welding electrode, helping them fuse together. When you increase amperage, you get deeper penetration into the metal, which makes the weld stronger. But if you set it too high, you risk burning through the metal or causing defects. For thick steel beams, welders often use higher amperage, sometimes over 200 amperes, to ensure the weld is solid. For thinner materials like sheet metal, lower amperage prevents burn-through and warping. Adjusting amperage is usually done by changing the wire feed speed in wire welding or the current setting on your machine. Now let's look at voltage. Voltage is the electrical pressure that pushes current through the circuit. It influences the shape and stability of the arc, which is the glowing bridge of electricity between the electrode and the metal. Higher voltage creates a longer, wider arc, which produces a broader weld bead. This can help fill gaps and improve penetration in thicker materials. But if the voltage is too high, it can cause spattering, tiny molten metal droplets flying out, and make the weld look rough. On the other hand, lower voltage produces a shorter, narrower arc. This results in a smaller weld bead that might not fuse properly, especially on thicker metal. Voltage drop, which happens when the cables or connections aren't perfect, can reduce the effective voltage at the weld. This leads to shallow welds that aren't as strong. Good equipment and proper cable management help keep voltage stable during work. In construction, understanding how to balance amperage and voltage is key. For example, welding a steel beam that's 6 inches thick needs high amperage and voltage to get deep penetration. But welding thin sheet metal requires lower settings to avoid damage. Skilled welders know how to adjust these parameters based on the job, the material, and the environment. They also consider the equipment's capabilities and the size of the cables, which can affect voltage and amperage during on-site work. To sum it up, amperage controls how hot the weld gets and how deep it penetrates, while voltage influences the arc's shape and stability. Both need to be set correctly to produce a weld that's strong, clean, and reliable. Mastering these settings is a vital part of a construction career as a welder, helping ensure safety and quality in every project.